Hi, my name is Michelle Michaud, and I'm a University of Maine at Fort Kent student. This is for my English 200 speech class, and this is my first speech. I'm going to be talking about how reducing anxiety can help reduce some of the symptoms of Tourette syndrome. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a Maine State behavioral specialist. I worked for AMHC for several years at a residential home for children. So I've worked with a lot of children with anxiety disorder and with Tourette syndrome. I also have a 13-year-old son who is diagnosed with Tourette syndrome at the age of 6, and he also has anxiety disorder. So we've learned a lot of techniques to be able to help him to reduce some of the physical and verbal tics that he has. There's 3 major points that I want to review on how to reduce anxiety. The first is you need to find the cause and what triggers the anxiety. Second, you need to assess and measure the symptoms of anxiety, and then you need to learn some techniques that can help you reduce and manage the anxiety. Identifying the trigger that causes the onset of anxiety. What is causing that person to feel anxious? What were you doing before you felt anxious? That can help you really identify what made you anxious at that moment. And working on this worksheet that I've helped develop, which is called My Panic Cycle, which is my panic attacks are triggered by, my physical sensations are triggered by, my thoughts and images are triggered by. This can help pinpoint some of the things that children are anxious about. And they can go ahead and identify what are some of the things that escalate that anxiety. Then the best thing to do is rate their anxiety levels. 10 being extremely anxious, 1 being not anxious. And they can go ahead on My Panic Cycle and go ahead and put that rating so you know how anxious that trigger causes them to be. And have them share some of those thoughts if they feel up to share how they felt when they were anxious. Assess and measure the symptoms of anxiety. List the physical sensations they were feeling when they felt anxious. For instance, I have this list, it's called the exposure list, where it says the situations, thoughts, and physical sensations. Feeling flush, feeling hot, excelled heart rate. They can go ahead and write that down, their physical sensations of how they felt, and then they can go ahead and rate that as well, so they can see how their body is reacting to the anxiety. That can give them an idea that I'm feeling anxious because I'm physically feeling this way. Review the exposure list with their parents, a therapist, a guardian, a teacher, to make them aware of some of these physical sensations of anxiety. List the behaviors that these physical sensations can cause. Oftentimes when children are feeling these physical sensations, they can have outbursts of behavior. They don't know how to handle it. The anxiety can cause them to have behaviors. We want to get to their anxiety before it reaches that stage. Then you can help them by learning to reduce and manage their anxiety. They can learn what's called, the worry cycle, where they can get into the heart of the matter, where they can write down like their worst predictions. What's the worst thing that could happen to them? What's the worst? If the worst occurs, what might happen next? What's so bad about that? This can help them get an idea and make like a plan of what's happening. What would happen if this actually happened? And they can build coping skills with this to help reduce that anxiety. What happens in those situations where they're feeling anxious? Once they get triggered, what do I do when that happens? They can develop some relaxation techniques. Examples, listening to classical music when they're feeling anxious, deep breathing exercises, drawing, painting, reading. Some children, physical activity gets their mind off that anxious feeling, and then they can go back and review it. Also, setting goals to manage their anxiety. This is called My Goals, and it helps them be able to list 2 to 4 goals that they'd like to achieve in the next 1 to 3 months. And then they can have some action strategies to achieving those goals. And the best thing to do is to revisit this after the 2 to 3 months and find out if there's any obstacles that got in the way for them to be able to achieve these goals. That way you can reassess it and they can set new goals and be aware of those obstacles. Letting parents know about this. Teachers know about it. Anyone who's working with a child know the goal that they're setting, and to be able to help them achieve that, to set those coping skills. I think it's really important too, if children can, to keep a journal of their feelings and to keep a journal of the progress that they're making, and for them to know that at any time you can revise those goals, and at the end of 3 months they can reset new goals, or they can reset the goal that they were working on, they can revise it. Hopefully I've been able to give you some tools that you can use to help reduce anxiety, to help children or people with Tourette syndromes to reduce the anxiety, to help improve their tics. Thank you very much.